Good afternoon, everybody. Quick stream probably, because most likely I'm going to have to be driving in about an hour, something like that. Yeah, what we were working on as we left, I think, we were trying to wrap up this mechanic sweep, trying to make sure that we have not only the mathematical formalisms for all the puzzles we're studying, but also all of the mechanics. And there seemed to be a fairly low number of mechanics, as we mentioned. And then after that, we were going to start restarting the city to pick up some of our new configuration. And the session was kind of getting big, and so I had it say, prepare handoff for yourself and then restart the city. And I guess we're going to see what happened next. I have a feeling though that we probably reached the end of this session. Hard to say, but maybe. And I think that covers most of it. Uh, so let's get right into it. Okay. All right. The handoff happened, and we're waiting for the controller to start this session. Okay, we had the shell still running there. Okay. Okay. All right, let's try it. Um, I think that we want a restart. Hmm. Well, we have a few different options here, right? Um, and I guess before we do this, we can also go look at brew. It looks like Bolt's out of date, Pearls, but the one we care about most obviously is Cloud Code. Since we're going to be starting new sessions, we might as well go upgrade Cloud Code. That should just take a second. All right. It looks like we can just GC restart. Does it restart all the agent cities and then reload the current city's config? We could try that as well. And we can look at the machine-wide supervisor. I haven't looked at this much. Might just be a little educational. Not super educational, I wouldn't say. It seems like something that should kind of be hidden, you know, um, like the fact that there's a supervisor at all. There is a GC dashboard command. It might be interesting. Listening on localhost 8080. Okay, cool. Um, Interesting. So this is our city. There's a duplicate name here from a pack. That's interesting. I think that I saw in the Discord that they were thinking about like reworking this whole thing. It wasn't super interactive. Okay, Cloud Code's been updated. Let's do, I think our best bet here is a restart. So this is restarting the supervisor, registering our city for the directory that we're in. We didn't have a system D service before? Okay, check GC supervisor logs for details. There's a duplicate name from the cache and from pack. Doesn't that mean that we should, okay, well, we'll go through this doc here. All right. The recommended path is migration. Let's try a GC doctor first of all. I mean, it's showing the same error, right? It seems weird that it would care about what was cached. Like, clearly this one should, like, dominate this one. Two failures. And then there's this one. Scheduled orders are stale. That could absolutely be a thing. Let's check that before we begin. It's supposed to be doing some of these health checks every 5 minutes, and it hasn't done them for days and days. That's kind of interesting. Okay. Maybe that would make the GC doctor happy. I think that we are trying to look at this config valid thing. Move each agent block to its own agent's name directory. Your pack declares agent blocks for an agent name that an auto-imported system pack declares in agent toml. This is probably the problem where we have first defined all of these agents inside of our city, then we refactored them out into a pack and tried to include that pack so we could look at them side by side, which totally makes sense why we would do that, but also this doesn't like. So I think that what we should do is try and fix this inside of the city, right? So let's take a look. This would be right. So we're importing this, and then but we also have agents like this. And so one thing that we could do is we could, although we can identify all of the agents that are in our puzzle pack. So, right, we could probably even identify them by the recentness with which they've been updated. But yeah, it's these four guys, this guy, this guy, and this guy. We're just gonna move them out of the way. All right, and basic idea is, let's see. Tutor puzzlers. So in the sense of tutor level puzzlers, right? So we're just going to move these guys. Move analyst, antiquarian, uh, inventor, playtester, presenter, simplifier, and smith to tutor puzzlers. Okay. All right. So we've significantly changed the way that our city looks, but if we ever need these guys back again, these old versions of this thing, here they are. Okay. Now let's see if we can start our city. Try GC Doctor again. Config valid. That's the one we were trying to pass from before. We don't need to look at the rest of this stuff. Again, it's saying the city is unregistered, which I feel like the city registration, something I don't have a complete grasp of, but it's a little bit lower level than I'm interested in at the moment. So I expect this TMUX session to stop since we're restarting here, because I expect all of the restart to include not only the supervisor, but also all the sessions. But I don't know how long this is going to take. So where were we in these? Yeah, we were just finishing up Haku. That's like seismic activity or something like that. And the restriction is that you can't have two numbers as close together with less than the number of cells between them. So this three is there's at least 3 cells in between this and all the other threes in the puzzle, vertically and horizontally. Uh, oh no, Hanare? That's weird. Did I read it wrong? Huh. I might have messed something up there. I don't know. This is clearly Hanare, right? What happens if you click on Haku? Oh, we must have skipped it and then I just named it wrong. Okay. Oh, I'll fix that in the file name, I guess. Okay. Don't need to have all these open still. Okay. AB Ichigo. Ichigo is strawberry, I think. AB, I'm not sure what that is. Strawberry snakes. Enter numbers between 1 and 5 in some white cells. One or more sequences of orthogonally. All numbers in strictly increasing or decreasing order. Number snakes. Two number snakes may not touch orthogonally, meaning face to face. A number in a black cell indicates which number in a white cell is the first number in the direction the arrow points to. It doesn't have to be directly adjacent to the white cell, to the black cell. There might be empty white cells in between. I don't think we have any examples of that in this particular. Oh, this 4 down here has a white cell before the 4. A 0 indicates that there is no number cell in the direction the arrow points to. No snake may look at another snake. A snake's eyes are on the one side. It can only see in that direction up to the edge of the grid or a black cell. So if we look at these ones, and we're sort of looking from 2 to 1. We're drawing a ray from 2 to 1, and we should always be hitting either a black cell or the edge of the grid. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, we've got our city registered. We've got our city stopped. We installed that systemd service. We're waiting for the supervisor to start the city. Our mayor session, our tmux did exit. Okay, so I think we're understanding what's going on here pretty much. You know, productivity at its finest. Right? Okay, so as I mentioned, most of these, if there's only one cell in that direction, then we can assume that it's here. We'll learn more by none of these touching. So for instance, this can't be a cell because that would touch two different snakes together. They're clearly two different ones because you can't have 5 in a single snake twice. This would be a 3. All right, so remember there are number of snakes from whatever to whatever. I don't think that we have a rule that says they all have to be 5 snakes, do they? Okay, that's just a part of the game. I mean, you could do a variant of this where they were up to 6 or whatever. None of the rules would change. But here we've got all 5 snakes. This has to be like so. This one can't turn down here because it would have to go 2 and then 1, and that would violate what's on this block. So the 2's got to be this way for sure. Now the 1 we're not sure about, but we can go at least this far. We could also be sure that since the 1's going to go here or here, nothing's going to be right here, because then those 2 snakes would have to touch. Okay. So we've kind of taken care of, we could note that we've taken care of all of these clues, for instance. Okay, so there's only one more cell for this 2 to go into. It's right there. No doubt. We're still not sure about this 1 right here, and we're not sure about this 4. But we actually can be sure because we continue this snake, right? It has to put a 4 here. A 3 has to be next, but it can't be this way because that would violate this clue. So it's got to go here. And that takes care of this clue. And there's no snake here. Right now, it's not obvious whether, if we put a 1 here, it's not obvious if it belongs to this upper snake or this lower snake. I guess we'll keep seeing what we can see. Let's try this one. 3, 2. We have this choice now about whether the 1 goes this way and looks at whatever's in this cell, or whether it looks this way and looks at all of these snills. Not obvious from the get-go. We actually can know that the 3 of this upper snake can't go down here because a 2 would have to come next, and then the snakes would touch. So we're stuck with this. And now we look from the 2 to the 1, and we can see that this 1 would see everything down to this block. All right, so 1 snake down. Well, this is an interesting thing too, actually. Suppose that we took this snake up here, 2, 1. Well, look at this 3. It's got to have a 2 and a 4 on the side of it. We don't know which way, but it's definitely there. So it's not possible for this one to go up all the way to this 1. If it went up, then it could turn, but then that's also a violation of our rules. But so it can't go, if we put a 2 here, if we try this one, it doesn't work because of this snake that's got to extend in both directions. If we have it turn left, then that doesn't work because it sees another snake. So there's actually nowhere to proceed if we put the 2 here. So we've got to put the 2 here, the 1 here. It sees in this direction, and that's that. There's not going to be anything in here. There's no room for a snake. There's no snakes next to other snakes. Now we have this quandary. We need to place this 1 somehow. And right now, this 1 is looking at a 3. There's only one place to put it. There's only one place for this snake to extend. Or this snake is looking at this wall, so it's fine. And we're not sure whether we're going to put our 5 here or here. But chances are it won't be free by the end of the puzzle. And the only thing that's going to limit it probably is right here. So it's probably going to go here. We can make this snake look to the right. Oh, similar logic with this 3, right? It has to extend both ways. This 2, it has to go both ways. We don't know right off the bat if this is a 1 or a 3, but there is going to be a snake here. So there's no way that we could put the 1 here. It's got to go this way. And it's looking over in this direction, and then it hits this wall. All right. It didn't become ready within 5 minutes. Maybe it's just the potato computer that I'm running this on. I don't know. It seems happy. Let's try attaching to the mirror. Warn, the beady hooks are installed. The native store is unavailable. I don't totally know what that means. We have like vanilla beads, and we also have the GC beads installed on this computer. Maybe there's some sort of clash. A little hard to actually work on any patches to beads if you're got a guessity, if that's the case. I'm kind of enjoying this puzzle. We know that this has got to be a 3 or a 1, but we've got to get this snake up to 5. There's no way to continue if this is a 3, so this has to be the 1. This has to be the 3. We can't turn this snake down here because there's not enough room to turn into a 5 or 5. There we go. 1, and this one's got to be a 5 to finish off that snake. There we go. We can double check that none of our snakes are looking at each other, but yeah. That's sort of the puzzle designer's job if we believe these numbers are correct for other reasons. But yeah, there's Heibi Ichigo. I kind of like that one. There were certain things about it that were fun and unusual, like the snakes looking at each other kind of stuff. All right. Hey, we're here. What are we working on? So I hope that it remembers what all is in flight. We finished mechanics for the catalog. We're working on our refactor. We've restarted our pack refactoring. You should have read the handoff from the other mayor. Yeah, again, I was talking about this like a stream or two ago. It seems like this session should have done its usual thing as it sort of woke up, and I sort of prompted it to do all those usual things. And now it's sort of doing what I would normally expect. Gofu, we already did. Heabon and Heawake, we did in the course of some explorations of the catalog, I think, and understanding some of the underlying formalisms. Uh, Hiroi Mono, I think, as well. Oh, right. Remove stones from the Go board. Let's try this one. We were looking at this briefly. It's like it sort of has a sort of one-way arrow of time kind of aspect to it that's kind of unusual. It's like the board is changing as you remove stones, and you need to sort of be keeping track of that. And so you're doing these sort of long hypothetical trees. I think what's going to be interesting about this one is trying to do some notation about ordering, like not being forced to do things in a certain way. We're also kind of looking at vertex degrees and things like that. Um, so like this one, for instance, only has one neighbor, and this 15 only has one neighbor. We can see all of that from the beginning of the puzzle, right? Like there really are only so many edges to do, and it's sort of like we have to cut the edges one by one if you want. Well, let me rephrase that. In the bridges puzzles, we're only doing bridges in between these, but when you remove these two ghost stones, there's a new bridge between this one and this one, right near the end. Let's see what we can do with this one. Okay. Alrighty. I think that we did the retro tag sweep. Um, mhm. Okay, I was forced to move out the duplicate agents. So it noticed that these were deleted agents files because tutor is inside of Git repository. Agent definitions old now. In tutor, in order to start the city, there was a naming conflict between the pack agents and the city agents. I think, assuming the pack agents work, let's consider that step to be done, and let's test if the pack agents work, then consider that step to be done, and then consider that step to be done. Move forward. Um, uh, it's fine to continue the QC on catalog, but let's keep going on the refactor as well. All right. Okay, so recall that we're removing ghost stones from the board, and we have to pick one to start with. It could be any of them, and then we have to start removing them by sliding to their adjacent neighbor, picking an adjacent neighbor and going there next. And we can kind of do this in any order we want, but we can pick orders like that one I just did, where we sort of land at the end and there are no more neighbors. And that had better be the last stone in the sequence. So notice what happens right down here. These are the only real two candidates for beginning and ending because they have only like vertex degree 1, right? All the other ones have at least two neighbors. And in this puzzle, you don't ever gain neighbors. Like if you only have two neighbors, um, you could remove a ghost stone between them and you still have two neighbors. But the number is only ever going, down, the same or down. So I think that we can consider that these have to be the beginning and end of the puzzle at one, because there's once you've sort of taken them off the board, it's like there is only one way to deal with it. There's only one way into both of them, and those are the two ends of um, the sequence. No two ways about that. So um, if we peek at the solution, then we know which one is the start and which one's the end. Um, and that's an asymmetrical thing, right? It's not true that if we go backwards, then in the same sequence that we'll be able to see the same operations as if we go frontward through the sequence, because we're taking things off of the board and we're changing what moves are possible as we go further and further. So for instance, if we start here at this end and we go here, then so we remove this one and then we remove this one. Now, that was the last neighbor of this guy. It has 0 neighbor. We're still here. We can go see it, but there's no other way into it. If we move on, then we'll never get back to this one, and so we can't complete the puzzle. So we would have to go here and then here. And that doesn't work. We haven't visited all of the stones, and we're stuck on our island. So we can infer that this one can't be 1, and this one has to be 1, and this one has to be 2. Now, by the same token, we can infer that we can't go this way because we'd be, well, we could go this way. We could go 3. This is interesting. I didn't think about this too hard yet. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Why doesn't that work? I don't know. There's a rule. There's a rule about this. And the rule is if we go south, then our next move can't be north. You're not allowed to turn around. It says 360, but it's 180. If you removed a stone n, the next stone must not be in the direction of n minus 1. So we're literally not allowed to make this stone 3 by turning south, and then the next one is stone 4 by turning north. So we can't do that. We're forced to go this way. All right. And then we can't revisit this one again by going south. So only these two are open. How do we solve from here? I mean, there's various ways to try. Uh, you can kind of notice, as I did, that there is a loop there. But I didn't vet carefully what I was doing for not turning backwards. I don't think it did, but still. The only way into this one now is this one right here. So they're sort of both out on a string together, if you want. And the only way into this one from there is one of these two. So we've kind of got to be ending up on one of these two. I guess that sort of tells us that we've got to go this way. But these are very loosey-goosey inferences, I would say. go. Computer seems to be chugging a little bit. Let's see what our mayor is up to. I'm checking the performance doesn't seem to be too crazy right now. There are a lot of writes happening on the VM, like a gigabyte per second. It might be happening because we're using a lot of our disk. Yeah, I was going to, at some point I've got to, I probably should have done it before I turned back on the mayor, turned back on the city. That would have been a good point to like, you know, shut off the VM, increase the disk size, and then turn it back on again. But I didn't do that yet. Yeah, it does seem like it's getting really, really big here. I'll tell you what, it's coming near the end of time. Yeah, I'm seeing 1 gigabyte per second writes. We're just gonna kill the VM. I'll expand it while offline, then we will start again soon. So hopefully I'll get to see you again tonight, but if not, thanks for watching and see you again.